0 to 60 can define a performance car, but it's the fastest 60 to 0 that's the aim of Tarok's brakes. From road cars to race cars, circuits, special stages, or the autostrada, nothing reduces speed like Tarok's brakes. Italy gave the world the art of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Tarok's has given drivers the art of stopping. For more information and to acquire your own masterpiece, visit tarox.co.uk. Yes, it's me, Mike Stone, and this is the Backseat Driver Podcast. It's the fastest, it's the friendliest, and it's for all the family. The Gas Shocks 116 Trophy and 120 Coupe Cup are the fastest growing race series in the UK, taking in 6 one-hour races and 8 sprints at all the top circuits. Visit 116trophy.com to find out more and get yourself behind the wheel. As historic rallying gains even more momentum, it's been a pleasure today to be invited down to the Vista Heritage Centre and to visit with HERO, which is the Historic Endurance Rally Organisation, and ERA, Endurance Rally Association, and to be joined by Seren Whyte, who is the event manager. Seren, welcome to the Backseat Driver Radio Show.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Now, HERO, how did it all come about? Because it came about, the one thing I know, from another organisation that put on things like the Pelican Classic, which in its day was considered an event for nutters, really, wasn't it?
I think there's still some of that going on. So HERO ERA has changed a lot over the years. It actually started with just HERO in, I think, 1993, and it began with John Brown. This then got taken over by Peter Neddin. I'm listing all these names now. And then in 2009, it was, our current chairman and managing director got involved and invested in it, and it became the Historic Endurance Rallying Organisation. Since then, there's been lots of mergers with Classic Rally Association, which did organise the Pelican Classic Marathon for a while, and then eventually ERA, which was in 2018. And now we have the current format.
So I mean, like down here at Vista Heritage, I mean, it isn't somebody's back room anymore, is it? This is an office block full of people planning huge events. I mean, it's very, very impressive, and it recreates the days of like the Liège-Rome Liège, Liège-Sofia Liège, the Alpine rallies and things. I mean, it's what I call proper rallying, for proper cars, for proper drivers, not the current crop who moan and groan when it rains, as they did on the Estonia rally. I mean, talk us through the formats of what's gone on, because the events are, I mean, there's like the novice rally, isn't there? All the way up to, if you can spare the time, spare the cash, and you think your car will last, Peking to Paris, which is 8,000 miles.
Yes, so we have a huge range of events, and I think it's incredible, just to touch on where you were saying about the office size. We started in just a tiny back room type office, which always used to astound me, because we'd be on these incredible, long, huge events that take ages of loads of planning, and then you go and see the office and it's tiny, and there's 3 people working there, and
somebody's back bedroom.
Exactly. So now at least I feel like the events that we're producing and the office space we have match a little bit better. And Vista Heritage is just an incredible place to work. It feels like when you drive through the gates, I don't know if you experienced this when you came through, like you go back in time.
You go back in time. I came to this place when it had more or less just opened. A lot of the buildings were being propped up because it's an old airfield, but the remit was, when the guys who own it bought it, you can't overly change it. It's got to remain relatively as it is.
I've got a video of my sister and myself driving around, actually on a competitive test around Vista Heritage, all the buildings before they renovated them, in an Austin 7. And I really need to recreate it now, because the difference is just insane. We went through one of the buildings on the test, and now you couldn't do that now.
Because there's the hangar with the rusty doors.
Yeah.
And they have to stop rusty, to the best of my knowledge. I mean, one of the things, I know we're going off track.
Sorry, that was my fault.
I mean, one of the things, there's part of the old airfield which they turned into a type of circuit. I put Skoda's 1100cc 1952, what was technically their Targa Florio car, around there. The man on the entrance with his white overalls and top pocket full of big pens, ex-National Car Parks, moaned and groaned because I had a pair of goggles on and a beret, and I should have had a helmet on, but the photographer said we want it to look a bit period. I still have the photographs, they appear on some of my social media. You couldn't have picked a better place to do it. Absolutely phenomenal.
It's a great little track as well, what they've created.
Yeah.
It flows quite nicely.
Yeah. So you use this place for some of your tests, do you?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of events that are based here. Our novice trial, which you mentioned earlier, that's kind of a training program event. So you do some classroom sessions, and then you go out and try the navigation and the timing, and it works in tandem. And then that's on the Friday and Saturday, and then on the Sunday we have a mini event. So you get to experience everything as a novice coming through against other novices, and then you compete against each other. And we hold tests on that little bit of track, and then on the airfield as well, which mirrors our other events, just on a slightly smaller scale.
I mean, it's one of those things, co-driving and navigating. I tried it, and the guy who I was co-driving for, we got lost twice getting out of central Paris. So we stopped and swapped over. I can read a tulip, but I have a problem. I like to see where I'm going. It's just one of those things. If I look down in the car too much, I start to feel not ill, but I cannot not look where I'm going, even as a passenger. I think that's probably why I'm not a major fan of flying, because you can't see where you're going, you can only look out over a wing.
Maybe that's why I don't like flying.
Which is embarrassing because my late father was a pilot. But, so, I mean, just talk us through the events. There's the novice, and then because you put a lot of events, Hero put a lot of events on, don't we?
Yes, so we have 12 to 14 events a year. I think our total at the moment is 280 events we've run so far.
Right.
Altogether. But so you start with your novice trial, that's your training event. Then we've got all of our events are colour-coded like ski slopes.
Yeah.
So our green and blue are your easier events, or not necessarily easier, but perhaps easier to get involved with.
Yeah.
So they're all on tarmac roads.
Oh, they're in England.
No, we do have some green and blue that go into Europe, but,
right.
but you're talking roads, tarmac roads, no off-roading, no gravel tracks.
No, not non-damaging for one. Yeah.
Daytime events, maybe a bit more sociable as well.
Yeah.
And then that goes into your red and black events, which are perhaps night driving, perhaps different terrain driving. You've got all different weather, so if they're in December, November, perhaps there's snow, sleet, ice thrown at you. So they're a little harder. So we have perhaps a trail you could follow that starts with your novice trial, then you go into our one-day hero challenges that are blue and green, and then the summer trial, which is a weekend event. So you've got a path you can follow if you want to come into this in a straightforward way. But then you move on to your harder events. So we've got Rally of the Tests, which is the navigator's hard one.
That's the recreation of what became the RAC Rally, isn't it?
Yeah, so back in the 50s, 60s, so right back, the same similar style navigation. We actually give them some 1950s style maps, and they have to compare it with modern day, and they're only allowed to use roads shown on the 1950s maps, which, as you can imagine, makes it
so everybody knows I refer to the modern RAC Rally as the rally of a little bit of South Wales. It's not a proper one.
Well, this year's going from Blackpool to Torquay, so we go through a bit of South Wales.
Yeah.
But Caerwent and that kind of thing.
But, I mean, that was the great thing. The early rallying was tests, it was like manoeuvrability, and what people now call auto tests. I mean, that bit of it's becoming a sport in its own right. But, I mean, it's like you said, there's the novice one where the navigators are taught, or the drivers taught. Do you I mean, I don't mean do you teach the drivers how to drive, but do you teach them do they have a chance to have a go at some of these things?
Yeah, so in the novice trial, we actually have two elements where the driver and co-driver have to walk what you call an auto test or maneuverability test. We hold it on our terrace up here with tiny little cones, and they have to go around it, and it's all about actually working together.
Yeah.
You need to learn to work as a team, and that's very much what we train them. We have both team members here for the novice trial, and they learn how to work with each other, because if you and I were to go and do a rally, we'd need to learn how we work together, how you call things, how I call things. Are you any good at rights and lefts? Because loads of people aren't. So you say,
that is one thing I actually want to touch on.
So yeah, it is about working together, and the drivers can do an awful lot more than they think they can. When my sister and I compete, we do all the preparation together, even going through the navigation notes. We make sure we're marking it together so that we both know what's going to happen. I'm not in the bar drinking while she's doing all the work.
Right, so you're the driver?
Normally when we compete together, only because Elise is just incredible on maps. I swear we could drop her in the middle of anywhere in the UK with her blindfolded and she'd manage to make her way home. She's just got one of those...
So like you say, marking maps, I mean, even as a driver, I just do navigation now. But you'll see the co-driver's road book. In my instance, I drive a right-hand drive car, so you see the code book on your left, and if it's been highlighted in yellow or green, it catches in the corner of your eye, and you think, that's coming up.
Exactly, and we have a system where we tell everyone in the training for the novice trial how we do it. This isn't necessarily the way to do it, it's just how we do it. Find your own way. But we used to colour our hands in, so right was in red, and anything to the right was coloured in the book red, and anything to the left was yellow.
Right.
So, and we coloured our hands in the same colour.
Because a great friend of mine, Marie-Catherine Linney, the French diva herself, has turned down the opportunity to co-drive in the Rally of the Princesses, which is the ladies' equivalent of the Tour Auto. Reason? She doesn't know left from right. She never has done. And I was going to ask you, how do you cure the left and right problem? Because I've known a few other people who don't know left, or they do, but when it comes to, like, shall we say, a little bit of pressure, they suddenly forget which is which.
Oh, it's very easy to do. So we had this system where we colour our hands in, and if in doubt, you just turn towards the colour.
Right.
So I would have my hands on the steering wheel, one red, one yellow, and just turn towards the colour if in doubt. And I could even see that on her notes because it's coloured in so vibrantly. And that's how we do it. We don't colour our hands in anymore. I think we've progressed a little bit. But we still colour our books in the exact same way.
Yeah. So anything that's right is red, anything that's left is yellow.
Or yellow,
Right. So that's how it's cured. I mean, just talk, besides, so you've got the novice trial, there's the summer trial. Just talk me through all the events.
Okay, so sales pitch this is it. Novice trial, 3 days training, definitely one to do if you've never done anything like this before, or perhaps you just want to remind yourself of a few things, because things change. And we also give a few hints and tips on current tricks of the trade. Then you've got your one-day hero challenges. They're actually there's 3 of them in a year. They're part of a championship. 1 day, 6 regularities, 9, 10 tests, auto tests. Very short, sharp. You can do them on a weekend. Budget's quite low, so between 2 of you, anyone can take part. You don't have to have accommodation. You can drive down on the day if you want. Summer trial is your weekend event, starts on a Friday afternoon. You come and do your scrutineering, you go out for a couple of hours. Really sociable, lovely event, usually in June or July, so the weather is hopefully more. You've
a better chance of good weather. Having said that, this year you've had the chance of rain is, shall we say, you've been looking forward to rain this year. But.
Definitely. Then you've got Rally of the Test, which is definitely for the navigators and the drivers. There's a lot of tests. Rally of the Test is in the name. So you're challenging both driver, navigator. It's intense, but so much fun. Probably my favourite UK event to take part on. Then you've got Le Jog, which is just a completely different type of challenge. You're going to Land's End to John O'Groats in 3 days in December. You've got snow, wind, rain, sleet, ice, just anything they can throw at you. You're sleep deprived because you do go through the night. There are lots of breaks, but you can't get enough sleep, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, although you compete to try and get a gold medal on Le Jog,
Yeah.
if you finish that event, it's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
And I can't explain the camaraderie on that event. It's completely different because although everyone's against each other, you're with each other. Everyone wants everyone to finish.
Yeah.
So that's just incredible. Then we've got our events overseas. So this changes every year. Those are our core events. I'm Flying Scotsman as well, which is our 1942, so vintage and Vintagent cars only.
Right.
And that's an incredible event just to see all those cars. It's quite sociable, but because of the type of cars, it is harder because you're driving an older car is more exhausting on your body. Being in the fresh air as well, if it's open top, it's tiring. So there's only 4 regularities and maybe 2 tests a day.
Yeah.
But that's enough to be quite challenging. And that's a great event. And then we move on to our long distance events and mid distance events. So we've got, oh gosh, this goes on and on. One of my favourites is Scottish Malts. That's in Scotland.
Yeah.
Combining classic cars and Scottish malts.
Right.
2 of my favourite things.
So it's basically a tour of the distilleries.
Yes.
Oh, well done.
And you used to, years and years ago, at every distillery you got a dram.
Yeah.
They've changed that now for obvious reasons. They used to give you a little bottle of
miniature,
yes, of the whiskey, and you'd get it when you went to the distillery. But we found out that a lot of people were sampling this at the distillery. So now when you finish the event, you get all the miniatures.
You get a bag of miniatures
from the distilleries you have visited.
Right.
But the roads and scenery in Scotland is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you do Le Jog, all of that's at night, so you miss it all. So Scottish Malts, you get to see all of it in the daytime.
Yeah.
London, Lisbon, from London to Lisbon, again a great event through 5 different countries, and then you move on to your Peking, Paris. We've got the Temple Rally coming up in a couple of weeks, the Sahara Challenge.
Yeah.
These are all challenging in completely different ways, but also you get to see some incredible countries.
I mean, how are you going to go on with the Peking, Paris? Because to my knowledge, I think the route has always gone through Russia, and I don't know whether Vlad the Lad's allowing anybody to drive through Russia at the moment.
So at the moment there is a plan B in place, and it involves the Caspian Sea. Now I'm not totally clued up on all of this. My main events are UK and Europe based, but I have to say the different routes sounded quite intriguing. There's a ferry that goes across the Caspian Sea, but it only runs when it's full. So they've got to try and persuade this boat to go when the event needs it to go, not just randomly cross the sea without them, or potentially wait for more people once all the cars are on board. But Peking to Paris has always been a challenge about travelling from A to B, despite everything that's going on. And I think no matter what, we will find a way, if we can, to get through, and that's part of the excitement. Even if it happens.
It's over 8,000 miles. I mean, a previous guest, British touring car driver Patrick Watts, and I was chatting to him, and he intends, all being well, doing it, and he's preparing a Sunbeam Tiger. And he was saying the prep that goes into these cars, because these hardcore events, the cars take incredible punishment, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of these cars were ever designed to do this kind of mileage or insane pressure that you put your vehicle under. So yeah, you do have to put a lot of prep, and it's about knowing the countries and the roads and the terrains you're going on, and doing everything that you possibly can to mitigate.
Because I know the other year a veteran tricycle completed it, and a steam car completed. It's the longest anybody had driven a steam car. I
mean, those drivers, total respect, but they must be a little bit insane.
Yeah.
Especially the tricycle. That was just absolute nuts. And I'm so glad it finished. It was incredible, but gosh, I'm not sure I could do that long sitting in a sidecar, perhaps.
Now, the one thing I do know is Hero have an arrive and drive scheme, which is where you can hire a rally car. Because not everybody has the time, or I'm not being funny, the finances to own and prepare an historic rally car. So, I mean, what sort of cars can you hire?
So we have a range of different arrive and drive cars, and they're banded according to engine size and this kind of thing. So anything from a Mini Cooper S to we've got an AC March 1936, I think that one is, right up to a Lancia Delta Integrale.
Oh, right.
Just completely different vehicles depending on what you want or perhaps require, or even the event, because you've got to match your car to the event a little bit. And it's actually how I got started in all this.
Right.
Because my sister and I we marshalled. That's how we got started in
Is motorsport a family tradition?
My dad used to rally. He did like the Motorsport News Championship.
Oh, the famous motoring news.
That's the thing.
Yes.
So he did that, but I think we got involved kind of to spite him, because we were very feminine children. We did ballet and all this, and
a lot of parents try and discourage their siblings from going into motorsport because they realise, as a rule, the financial strain it puts everybody under, so they try and stop the rest of them doing it.
Yeah, definitely. So we started marshalling, and I think we were on a Le Jog years and years ago, and there were no women taking part.
Yeah.
And we naively asked when the women's event was, and someone said, no, it's just too hard for women, which we took as a challenge. So we hired a car from the Arrive and Drive fleet, because we knew nothing about classic cars. We'd never driven them. We were 18 and 21 at the time.
Yeah.
So we hired a Mini Cooper S, turned up at the start, Arrive and Drive, exactly what it says on the tin, and then absolutely fell in love with the sport. So went on to hire different vehicles to find what we liked.
Yeah.
So we drove the Alfa Romeo GTV, BMW 1602, Triumph TR4, just to get a really good feel for all these different vehicles.
So I mean, like what you call the main historic rally cars, everybody thinks the big banger Healy 3000s. 911s, you can't move for 911s on historic motorsport. Equally, Mark 1 and Mark 2 Escorts. But, I mean, there's a whole cross-section of cars. But if you don't mind me asking, I mean, it's a bit of a thorny subject, what is the cost of doing one of the rallies, and how much more does it add on if you want to hire it? Because I conclude, dependent on what car you want to arrive and drive, will vary in the price. Whereas a Mini Cooper might not cost as much as a full-blown Integrale.
Yeah, exactly. The prices of the cars differ between each vehicle, but also which events. So if you're doing something that's maybe blue or green, where the car isn't going to be under as much pressure, it's going to be cheaper than if you do a red or black event in that vehicle, just because it is going to need a new set of tyres once you come off that event. It is going to need, looking at the gearbox, all of this. Price-wise, I wouldn't want to spitball prices at you, because I wouldn't want to get it wrong. But our one-day events are £250 to £300 to enter.
Is that per car and crew?
Per car, yes. So that's for two of you, and that's your everything. So your route book, rally plates, the route, your lunch, coffee halts, and your awards ceremony with your prizes and dinner. That's all included, and that's for two of you. Then the car hire, you would have to hire it, I think, for 3 days. So to get there, do the event and get back, even if you're transporting it. But I wouldn't.
I mean, that used to be the great tradition that a lot of rally cars and racing cars were driven from the factory to the event, did the event, and on the proviso they hadn't rolled them, parked them down a ravine or anything like that, were then driven back to the factory. So I conclude, say I wanted to do it, could I come here, hire the car, drive it to the event, do the event and drive it back?
Exactly, and I would actually, especially picking it up beforehand and driving it to the event, I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, because you get used to it.
Exactly, there's nothing worse than getting in a car completely blind to it and not knowing how it handles, and then trying to drive it competitively.
Yeah, and whether I conclude if you've ever hired a car, or else even if you're using your own car, is there shall we say, a mechanical backup on the events, or do you have to be able to spanner yourself?
I think it's always good if you have some mechanical knowledge, but you don't have to. We have mechanics that they sweep through the route at the back of the event, but we have another crew that go to coffees and lunches. So if you arrive at coffee and there's a nasty knock and you just want to double check it's nothing that's going to hurt your car further, you can stop and see them, and they're incredible.
So this is like the hero's own cars, or
no, this is everyone's.
This is everybody's
They
car.
do everyone's cars. Anything. They're not going to rebuild your gearbox before the event. But they're incredible. They work magic. The amount of times
they'll keep you going.
And they have kept me and my sister going when we've competed, and they're just magic.
Because one of the cars you rally is a standard 10.
So after hiring all these vehicles, we actually found one we really loved, and it was the slowest car I've ever driven. But it was super cute and kind of you don't expect a standard 10 to do well. So when people see me and my sister in a standard 10, and some of the rallies they like you to dress in the period of your vehicle. So Rally of the Tests, in a 1956 standard 10, we would turn up in full petticoats. And people would see us and be like, "Oh, bless them, they're taking part." And then when we'd come 6th overall, they'd sort of, "Oh, okay, these girls are serious," and we quite like that, being under in a standard 10.
I mean, if you have your own car and you want to do the Hero events, say you buy the car, can Hero prepare your car for you if you want, or can you recommend, say, well, no, we don't do it, we'll take it to such a place?
Yeah, definitely. We don't do it ourselves here, but we can definitely recommend some fantastic mechanics that we ourselves use, or we know competitors use, and these people know our events, so they know what to prepare and what questions to ask you.
Because I conclude there'll be, shall we say, a minimum standard for a car. Or I know you said you've some of the green and blues, which are the easy ones, but you'll still need to do something to your car to make it suitable. Even if it's timing equipment. As I know we were saying before we went on air, you can get an app for your smartphone which actually works quite well. The only thing you do is it's one that I use. You use an old smartphone because the screens aren't as sensitive and it doesn't zero quite as easily as a modern one does.
So according to our regulations for our events, you can't use phones because the marshals can't determine quick enough whether you're looking at maps and cheating, or whether you're using it for a trip or whatever. You can use your phone on our novice trial because we wouldn't want you to go out and spend money if you don't know you're going to enjoy the sport. But going forward, you would need a basic trip meter that's more accurate than your odometer in your vehicle. There are loads of different brands out there that you can get, and they vary in price, but
the Brandts, the Holders, the trip meters, I mean, these are all names from the past, aren't they? I mean, I don't know whether the modern rally cars use these things, but there was something about a dashboard full of those, and a pair of Tag Heuer stopwatches.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can get really fancy stopwatches and timers now that you can use. I still use kitchen egg timers, double sticky taped onto my dashboard, because they've got bigger screens than a stopwatch. It's fine until it starts counting backwards and beeps when your eggs are ready.
And I conclude during the training, people are taught how to use these. I mean, it's like I said, I don't co-drive at all well, but I know how to use a trip meter, I know how to use a Brandt's. And the main thing is being able to remember to zero, because you're on an overall distance, and it could be a case of 0.7 of a mile turn left, 1.2 miles turn right, and underneath, I mean, it's a little trip meter off your normal dashboard, but you zero it, and if it's accurate, at 1.7 miles you turn left, because that's technically where the organisers intend you to turn left.
Yeah, and actually, especially when you're starting out, we recommend Brandt's because they're the easiest to amend when you do go wrong, or perhaps slightly turn into the wrong turning or someone's drive.
Because regrettably, if you reverse, they don't count backwards, do they?
There's a switch on them, but you have to remember to switch it into reverse.
Oh, right.
When you go backwards. So yeah, inevitably when you get to the junction, you need to adjust it to the correct distance so that you don't go wrong further down the road. So that's why we recommend Brandt's. But it's trip meters are definitely required.
So people get taught how to use these.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, as I said, I've watched a lot of the Hero YouTube broadcasts, and there appears to be people who've done it, who've been entering your events for years. Is this the case? So I mean, every year you'll see like the jog 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Then there was a hiccup, but it's the same faces. Nothing against that. I conclude these people do it every year because they're determined. You talk to them and they're serious about this championship.
Do you know what? It's so addictive, this sport that we all love. You do one event, and even if you did win it, you want to come back the next year just to do it again.
Yeah. And to prove it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, that. And it's so much fun, and you're sort of competing against as much as you're competing against everyone else, you're competing against yourself, because you're saying, well, last time, for example, on timing points, on regularities, when we first started, we dropped a minute at every control.
Yeah.
And then the next event you drop 40 seconds at a control.
Yeah.
Now, if we drop more than 2 seconds at a control, we've done something really wrong. But just seeing that progress is just incredible, and you're fighting against yourself to do that.
Yeah. It's one of those things people don't realise. You do what your co-driver tells you.
Yeah, they are the boss of the car.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether in your relationship, if you're competing with your husband or your wife, if they are the boss, whoever's navigating rules, whatever they say goes, even if they're wrong, even if they say at this distance you need to do a U-turn because it's in the book, you do a U-turn. It's probably not in the book. I've never seen that in a book. But if that's what they say you do it.
Yeah. Membership. How much is membership, or how do you become a member of Hero?
We have well, technically 4 different levels of membership. So the very first one, just to get involved, is sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It comes out once a month. It's called Heroics, and it's got everything we're doing, everything we're working towards, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The next membership level is our club membership. You need to be a club member to do any of our rallies.
Yeah.
And this is £20 a year. And every year you put that £20 in, and then you can compete on as many rallies that we organise as you like.
Yeah.
The next level up is our premium membership. Now, if you are a premium member, there's a few benefits with this. You get up to 10% off events, which, if you look at our event costs, as soon as you go into some of the longer events, it's well worth joining as a premium member. You also then are eligible to join the Hero Cup Championship and the Golden Roma Championship, which are our driver and navigator championships every year.
Yeah.
You also get up to, I think it's 10% off the arrive and drive cost if you want to arrive and drive the vehicles. And you can also get discount off our Heroics Cafe, which is on site here at Vista Heritage.
Oh,
Maybe
right.
I'll take you for lunch after.
Right. So it's well worth joining. If you want to get into historic rallying or the recreation of what rallying was, Hero is the way to go.
I mean, I'm going to say yes, definitely.
Yes. I mean, there are other organisations, some of which I'm a member of, but if you want to get what you might call go hardcore, it's Hero and the Endurance Rally Association that stage, host, plot and plan that what you would call the proper style old rallies and recreate the old rallies.
Yeah, we've got some great events that have been going for an awful long time. You know, 1,000 Mile Trial, for example, that ran, the very first running of the 1,000 Mile Trial was in 1912.
Yeah.
And it was the very first motorsport event around the UK to prove that vehicles could last off fuel, and there were enough fuel stations around the UK. And we recreated that in 2000 that's a good one. What was that? 2014?
Yeah.
That was the recreation of that, and that runs every now and again. And it's vintage cars only, the cars that were available then, back then. So you've got this heritage, I guess, of these events that we're lucky enough to be able to organise going forward. Which actually reminds me, there's that the last membership level is the heritage membership.
All right.
And that gives you everything that Premier membership gives you, but it also gives you an insurance policy as well.
Yeah.
So you can cancel later on our events and move your money around.
If somebody wants to get in touch with Hero, what's the best way to do? The website, I conclude, which is?
Visit hero-era.com. Everything's on there. Pick up the phone, give us a call here in the office. We're really friendly. Everyone in the office is lovely. Or send an email. You can email me. It's Seren, Seren, at hero-era.com, or anyone else if you find another email address. We always respond.
Seren Whyte, it's been a pleasure chatting to you, and thank you for joining me on the Backseat Driver Radio Show.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Rarely beaten on price, never beaten on service. Whether it's cars, bikes or commercials, Hoddy Tyres are the best in the business. And when it comes to tyre expertise and advice to supplying the correct tyres for your vehicle's specific requirements, nobody comes close to David Lakin and the Hoddy Tyres team. So give them a call on 01200 613 192 or visit the website at hoddytyres.co.uk.